It out. Kiss with, you guessed it, Kiss. 10 tracks for 35 minutes. Their debut album from the American rock band, released February 1974 by Casablanca Records, produced by Kenny Kerner and Richie Wise, recorded at Bell Sound Studios in New York. 3 singles were released in Nothing to Lose, Kissin' Time and Strutter. This album peaked number 87 in the US, number 82 in Canada, number 54 in Japan and number 38 in New Zealand. Eventually going gold in both the US and Canada. Much of what was on this album was written before entering the studio, as it was carried over from previous bands, and at the launch night for this album, that actually led to Warner Brothers releasing Casablanca Records over a dispute due to the makeup and show of Kiss at the time. Yeah, it was a very disruptive time back then. Go for it.
Iconic drum fill to open up the album, which sets the mood and tone for the album, and the early, like, before Kiss was a name.
Yeah.
There was, you know, Strutter is just, that's what Kiss was all about. It's good energy, great energy, killer hooks, just good old fun rock and roll album.
Yep.
And that's what they were trying to sell at that point in time. Just come and have some fun with us. On reflection, I haven't heard this album in quite a few years, as in top to bottom.
Yep.
And some of the tempos are a little off. I've got to say that Firehouse and Cold Gin in particular, they're a little too slow. They could have been played 2 beats faster.
I do wonder how this album stacks up in its entirety with the die-hard Kiss fans. I do wonder about that.
Well, it's got a lot of staples that they've played throughout their whole career. Like, there's at least 3 or 4 songs off this album that's never been removed from the set. So it probably holds up pretty well.
Some of the whole album, as a complete listener, you kind of go and pick your greatest hits out of it, or you can listen to the whole thing from start to finish? That's the question I've got for this album.
Okay. Kissin' Time was a good addition, and I would have liked to have seen them done that live. I think that was just a really, really good cover song, and they were all singing, all taking turns with the vocals, and I think it would have transcended really well live. The production is fantastic. I think it sounds really good and still holds up today. But you can see a band that they were still finding their way from Wicked Lester into Kiss, and hadn't quite nailed everything where they were going. I gave it a 9 out of 10, purely for the fact that so many songs are still in the set list year after year, tour after tour. They hold up. No matter which way the band went, those songs always stood the test of time. Strutter, Cold Gin, Let Me Know, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond. If you would cut the fucking outro by half, it would have been a lot better.
Oh, here we go.
That battery flat thing fucking, it just goes forever. And Vinnie Vincent thought it was cool to do it, 10 years later on his fucking stupid album. So, no.
What, 74?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Nah, not that long.
Oh, fuck.
You're going to take at least 45 seconds off that, and get to the point.
Okay.
So, 9 out of 10.
Unsurprisingly...
After all that, it's 9 out of 10 still.
Yeah.
Still a good fucking album.
Unsurprisingly, I love this album.
Oh, here we go again.
We have a theme. But as good as it sounds and as good as those songs are that have stayed in their set list for so long, when this album was originally released, Kissing Time wasn't on it.
No, that's right.
And it fucking shouldn't have been, because that song's a piece of shit.
I think it's a great song.
It does not belong on the album. So I'm actually scoring this album without that song on it, because it is a horrible,
Oh, come on.
cheesy, awful...
Selective editing much. That's my job.
True. No, that song doesn't work. It stops the album dead for mine. Like, it's rocking along and then you get Kissing Time, which you might as well have been singing My Boyfriend's Back. It is really, really bad. It just doesn't belong. But that aside, love Kiss, and I still love this album. It sounds, I think, amazing, being that their second album sounded so fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I'm actually really impressed how this first one actually still kind of stands up. It sounds pretty cool.
No, I'll agree with that.
Because, Jesus, it went on the slide badly. But they didn't have the money.
And so did the record label, which is why it ties in at the start.
I love the album cover because I love the fact that Gene and Peter have that look on their face. They're kind of like, what the fuck did we get into?
It's a shit album cover.
No, it's wonderful.
No, it's terrible.
No, well, yes and no. You have to look at it because, like, Gene and Paul are looking in the camera, looking so into it, and the other two are going...
That kind of sums up the band.
Yeah, brilliant. You have to check it out. It's so good. But, for everything it is, and as a Kiss fan, as you are, as Nicky is, I love it. I also give this one, if you take Kissing Time off it, 10 out of 10. Oh. It's brilliant. Highlights to me, Black Diamond, 10,000 Years, Deuce, Strutter, Cold Gin, and Nothing to Lose.
Let me bring some balance to this fucking shit show right now.
I'm the balancer here.
Not in this case. Okay, here's one I've definitely gone over before. I'll have to get that full Kiss special I did, fucking 4 or 5 years ago now online at some point. It's been a while. I can't remember exactly what I wrote at that time, so this is like an interesting revisit for me. The early hallmarks of this band and their sound are certainly on this record. A bit of glam in this, but it's got the rock and groove that you expect as well. The bass really drives this one, as does the melody. It's all about the rhythm and the hooks. A little bit rough around the edges, but it's better than I remembered it being, to be honest, going back onto it after a while. They have this live vibe about them on the record, this record, which is really well done. They've kept it tight enough, though, which is cool. Catchy stuff. These songs well written with the intention of being infectious. It's a little bit loose overall, and in the context of the album, it maybe doesn't quite fit as much as it should when you listen to the whole thing overall. There are some songs I thought they tried a bit too hard to be a bit too catchy kind of thing. But overall, for a debut, this is solidly written. Lyrically, it's actually pretty good, which is something I have criticised this band about before in the
And
past.
rightly so.
Yeah. Some little teething problems are present on this, but the composition overall and all that sort of stuff is more of a focus on the party aspect, and they did that part really well on this record. They set the tone pretty early in that regard. Production is rougher than others in this pool of albums we've gone through. It's well balanced, but it hasn't aged as well as other records have in this list that we've gone through tonight. But it does have some good tones, and I like the sandpaper applied to the overall finish of the sound of it. The balance between the bass and the vocals is interesting at times. They seem to push too much to the front, and then the drums suffer because they get pushed to the back in the mix for mine. It's different, it works for them, but there are times where it seems to be even, and other times that really starts to stick out at you, and like, just keep the balance there, it'd be good. But you can tell the Gene and Paul show is really pushing the buttons from the start on this record for mine.
Shock horror.
Yeah, well, surprise, surprise there. Now, overall, the album flows well, but there are some songs that pull me out of it. Kissin' Time, for example, it does not fit. That song could have been reworked just a little bit more, I think.
It's been left off.
Well, that would work too, but it's only a 35-minute album, so...
That's okay.
Yeah, well, we're not going for Ramones here.
Yeah, well, should we do that?
No. It's catchy, but it comes across a bit too jarring because it's out of place on this record. Love Theme from Kiss was another one. That didn't do anything for me either.
I love that song.
It didn't fit. Like, that just did not fit this record on a listen. It's just, you're going through it, and it's fucking instrumental.
It is
like,
a bit throwaway.
What the fuck is this?
Love it.
No.
Love it.
Side A was stronger, but there are some gems on side B. All in all, it's pretty well done, but it does suffer in balance due to the process we went through here. All in all, it is still a solid debut. If it wasn't up against so many absurdly good releases in this context, it might have gone better, but I'm comparing my grades as I go along, so this is not going to be an up there one. There are some songs on this which are like you said about the set list, they are always there, they're staples. There are some songs you're going, yep, that's a belter, that's cool. But there are other songs in here it's like, yeah, I'm not going back to that one. It's good, I like it, but I'm starting to wonder more and more as the years go by if I'm not being forced into more of being a Kiss fan as I'm doing more of this show as opposed to what I was when I started doing the show. I think, starting to wonder more as the years go by if I'm being forced by osmosis into becoming a much bigger Kiss fan than I was before THRS was a part of my life. That's the opening, that's the closing sentiment there. 7 out of 10. Strutter, Black Diamond, and Cold Gin. Check it out for yourselves and let us know what you think. The look you gave me. Thank you. I told you I'd bring some balance to this scale.
You're right about Kissing Time too.
No, it's a good song.
Terrible.
It's what the album needed. It needed
All
a
right.
bit
Should we
of
have some
pick-me-up.
fun? Should we do like Ramones or something?
You want to do Ramones, do
Yeah,
you?
let's do it.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, this will be interesting.
okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's
Good night.
and that's about as long as it goes for. Please don't bag the Ramones. You do or don't? Don't bag the Ramones.
Nah, I'm bigger than her. We're right.
Depends if Guy takes her side, you're in trouble.
It's anger. It's not size, it's anger.
And it's not the size of the dog in the fight.
Her man's bigger than me. We got trouble.
All right, shall we? You wanted to do this.
Yeah, I'm starting to regret it already.
All right.